Good afternoon. I'd like to call to order the January 22nd, 2024 meeting of the Board of Police Commissioners. The time is 4:46 p.m. We have a quorum with Commissioner Tony Lopez, Commissioner Fran Collier Clemens. First item on the agenda is the approval of the minutes of December 18th, 2023. Do I have a motion?
So moved, Mayor.
Moved by Commissioner Lopez. Do we have any corrections, deletions, or omissions?
I have one correction.
Commissioner?
On page 3, under Community Affairs, the second paragraph, the 6th line, the first word entails, remove an S from that. And that's my only correction.
Okay. Any further corrections, deletions, or omissions?
I have none, Mayor.
All in favor of the minutes as corrected?
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. Public comment is the next item on the agenda. Do we have anybody in the public waiting to address the Board of Police Commissioners?
We do not, Mayor.
Okay. So we'll close public session. Next item, recognition, December Officer of the Month. Chief?
Yes, Mayor and Police Commission. Lieutenant Weisgerber is here with us today, but we actually have 3 officers that were awarded. That was Lieutenant Arthur Weisgerber, Detective Dan Fitzmaurice, and Officer Taylor Equi. On Tuesday, November 7th, 2023, at approximately 5 a.m., a male victim was attempting to cross Martin Luther King Drive near Madison Avenue when he was struck by an unknown vehicle traveling at a high rate of speed. The victim was sent 127 feet from the point of impact and is now a paraplegic. Officer Equi of the Accident Investigation Unit and Lieutenant Weisgerber, commander of the ID unit, processed and investigated the accident scene. While processing the scene, Officer Equi began to examine evidence in numerous vehicle parts that were strewn along the roadway. Officer Equi recovered a small plastic part and was able to identify the vehicle as a new model Toyota SUV. Due to the condition of the victim and the severity of the accident, Detective Fitzmaurice assumed the criminal aspect of the investigation. Detective Fitzmaurice, Officer Equi, and Lieutenant Weisgerber all worked together, exchanging important information, which led Detective Fitzmaurice to identify the vehicle as a Toyota Highlander color black. Detective Fitzmaurice worked tirelessly and was able to obtain a list of black Toyota Highlanders registered in Connecticut. One by one, Detective Fitzmaurice worked the list and visited the addresses of the registered vehicles, subsequently locating a vehicle that had sustained heavy front and passenger side damage. That vehicle was towed to MPD, where a search warrant was obtained for processing. Lieutenant Weisgerber and Officer Equi continued processing the vehicle and were able to use several parts recovered from the scene to reconstruct the broken headlight and bumper assembly. Because of their attention to detail and diligent investigation, they were able to positively place that said vehicle at the scene of the accident. Detective Fitzmaurice was able to contact and interview the suspect. Because of Detective Fitzmaurice's interviewing skills, he was able to get the suspect to place himself as the driver of the vehicle and instruct the victim. Detective Fitzmaurice and Lieutenant Weisgerber and Officer Equi all worked together as a team to gather all relevant evidence during this investigation. As a result, Detective Fitzmaurice was able to secure an arrest warrant for the operator, Announce Souffrant, charging him with the following: felony evading responsibility. Souffrant was arrested on December 26th, where he was held on $100,000 bond. I believe Detective Fitzmaurice, Lieutenant Weisgerber, and Officer Equi should be recognized for their exemplary work that they did during this investigation. That this crime would remain unsolved if not for the efforts of these dedicated and professional officers.
It's quite a story. I did read about it in the paper and how it all unfolded. I believe the Lieutenant Weisgerber and Detective Fitzmaurice and Officer Equi, used all their training and skills and knowledge in a manner that certainly was able to bring this to closure. And it's just all that attention to detail, all the things that they do in order to bring justice to the victim who is now paralyzed. I just want to commend the lieutenant and the detective and the officer for the teamwork and the stick-to-itness, I guess, and the creativity. That was very a creative way to handle this situation, and to get a list of all black Toyotas that were listed in the area in Connecticut, and to go through each one. It took a lot of legwork, which, as Lieutenant Weisgerber knows, that legwork is one of the most effective ways of bringing cases to closure. So again, thank you on my behalf and on behalf of the city of Norwalk. Commissioners?
Yes,
Yeah,
I'd like,
Okay.
go ahead, Tony.
No, go right ahead.
I'd just like to add my congratulations to the three of you for the systematic work that you did. At that time of morning, probably nobody was around. The perpetrator probably thought that he could get away with it. And with the diligence and the knowledge and commitment that you have to bringing justice for citizens of this city is just tremendous. And I thank you so much for your work and your knowledge.
Yeah, I too, like Commissioner Collier Clemens, the attention to details and the commitment and diligence really should be commended. They did a wonderful job. That really paid off, and we can't thank them enough and appreciate, that level of detail mindedness that says we're going to get them.
So just appreciate the recognition by everybody. Officer Equi did do a nice job, because the part that she did come up started us with a Toyota Highlander and a age range. We're just going to throw Sergeant Toronto in here, although I hate to do it. He did a real nice job of an internet search, and actually we were able to shift the years by about 3-year range newer. So we were kind of looking like 2014, 16. John, with his knowledge of cars and so forth, was able to move it to I think around a 15 to 18 or somewhere in there.
Wow.
That helped as far as getting the whole thing started for the list. And then the rest of it is just kind of working together and putting it together. And the main thing is the scene was forensically mapped with the new Faro scanner.
Yeah.
So we waited all those years to get it, but it was mapped. We cleared the road faster than we normally do, because we're able to take like 5 scans in about 7 minutes a scan, instead of rebuilding the island, the double yellows, the hash lines, and everything is 3D virtual. So when it goes to court, if it goes to court, everybody can stand where the scanner was and do a 360 spin of exactly what we saw the morning out there. Never mind photographs, but they can put themselves virtually in that scene.
Just remember who gave that
Wow.
to you.
Let me think.
Well, thank you for that embellishment. And you're adding Toronto in there just shows how much you all value the input of each one of the officers that worked on it. Congratulations.
No, thank you very much.
And I
Thank
know
you,
that
Lieutenant.
nobody dedicates themselves more to the Identification Bureau, and certainly I don't know if he's still assigned to the Cold Case Squad, but he was, and was responsible for bringing a long-term cold case to justice. And again, that's because of dedication, stick-to-itness, perseverance, and just making sure you get the job done and taking pride in what you do.
Do a little more consulting now with the unit.
Yes,
Across the hallway, so I can still help out when they need it.
and I'm sure you do.
Yep.
Okay, any further?
you.
And congratulations to all of
Thank
you.
I just wanted to add, of course, we appreciate all that was done, and of course, we're still saddened by the victim and the injuries suffered as a result of that. But good thing that it was a good outcome that we caught the person.
The same situation over at East Rocks Road and Bain Street. just that hard work, that creativity, the experience, the knowledge of how to get things done. So again, thank you. Okay, operations report. Deputy Chief Blake is not here, so who's going to handle that? Deputy
Good
Chief
evening,
Lepore.
Mayor. Yes, good evening, Mayor. Good evening, Commissioners. Yes, with Deputy Chief Blake away at training, I'll be reading the operations report. I'm sure I won't do as well as he does, but bear with me.
I'm sure you will.
We'll get through it. So for the operations, we are at 180 sworn as of December 31st, with the retirement of the 2 officers in December. 192 sick days were used and 62 workman's comp days were used. We do have the officers that were out on comp have returned for light duty, so we're hoping that that number should go down in the next month. For the Detective Bureau, we had 40 cases that were opened in December. Arrest was made via the warrant for the evading, which we just heard from Lieutenant Weisgerber on. Sex offender was arrested via warrant for 11 counts of failure to register. And we had a domestic violence stabbing. Suspect was arrested and charged with assault first. For special services activities, you could see the cases there. They had 47 cases, 13 felony, 5 misdemeanor, 14 arrests, and 4 search warrants served. And then their year to date for the end of the year is also included. Of their major cases, they arrested a Waterbury murder suspect on Lexington Avenue. They did a whole bunch of vape shop compliance checks with 9 business cited for violations, and had a prostitution arrest on 99 New Canaan Avenue. For the special victims units, they had 56 cases opened, no felony arrests, 2 misdemeanor, no arrest warrants, and 4 search warrants that were completed. They had investigations into injured infant that was determined to be accidental. And they had investigation into a juvenile that had been struck by a tree that was also accidental. And then they have just several ongoing criminal investigations. Let's see, the second page. Okay. For patrol operations, as you can see, first platoon still takes about 24% of our calls for service. The patrol division had, let's see, we had second platoon had 2,396 calls for service. That was about 43%. And third platoon had about almost 1,900 for the year, and that was 34%. So second platoon still is determined to be the busiest shift on day shift for the year. Going to the operations for selective enforcement. In December, we had a total of 572 citations issued for a year total of over 8,152. Let's see, for the operations report. We had unnecessary noise, we had traveling too fast, stop signs, control signs, no licenses, suspended, no insurance, cell phones, and DUIs. And they were up from, and it was still up from 2022, where we only had 2,800 calls for service, or SC, I'm sorry, SE reports.
Wow, that's almost quadrupled.
Yes. Yes. And then in addition, the last graph that we have here, these are the Part A offenses from 2022 compared to 2023. So our numbers went down from 318 in 2022 to 284 in 2023. And that is all for the operations.
Any questions from the commission?
Mayor Rilling and Police Commission, just a note that we did have an 11% decrease in crimes that were investigated by the Detective Bureau from 2022 to 2023. But at the same time, calls for service generally, we went to, in 2023, there was 77,000 calls for service. Approximately 16,000 of those were self-initiated activities by officers. What I mean by self-initiated activities, 8,100 of them were car stops. The rest were what we call 121s, where we're doing extra attention to different areas that have been brought to our attention, just like places of worship, synagogues and other places where we received intelligence, where we're doing security when the officers are not on calls on their beats, or just at certain intersections where we receive traffic complaints, they'll sit at the intersection. So our self-initiated activity was doubled in 2023, but normal calls for service went up about 8,000 calls in this last year.
Very nice. A lot of proactive work. Always good to see. Okay, any other questions on the patrol operations report or the operations report?
I have none.
None.
Okay, I have to move, otherwise my light goes out in here. Okay, Deputy Chief Dinho on the community affairs.
Good evening, Mr. Mayor, Commissioners. For the month of December 2023, the Community Police Services Division was exceptionally busy. We'll highlight some of the major events. We had the 3 Stuff a Cruiser events, all at Walmart. We had a City Hall tree lighting, the Norwalk Green tree lighting, the tree lighting on River Street, and the one at Stu Leonard's. We had a Coffee with a Cop at Donut Delight. We had a City Hall menorah lighting, the Stu Leonard's menorah lighting, and the Washington Street menorah lighting, and the annual NPD Kids Christmas Party at the Sono School, and also Kwanzaa celebration at City Hall. The traffic unit for the month of December had 204 motor vehicle stops, and we have some selective enforcement locations highlighted of Riverside Avenue, Wilson Avenue, Wall Street, Highland Avenue near Brian McMahon High School, Connecticut Avenue, New Canaan Avenue, and Newtown Avenue. And as we normally do, we base these on a combination of citizen complaints is how we decided where to deploy the traffic unit, and also the information that's compiled by the Yukon Crash Repository, and that we look at and analyze the traffic areas in the city of Norwalk and deploy officers there on a monthly basis as well. Our behavioral health unit opened 27 cases for the month of December. One was received from an outside agency. They addressed 27 cases. Of those, they closed 22. And 2 were self-initiated, and there were 24 referrals from inside the police department in all divisions. And attached is also the December's training report, which you'll see there are various different trainings that were instructed during the month of December and attended by many police officers.
You know, it's like a lot of training going on, which is nice to see.
Yes, sir.
And when we see the officers of the month and the officer of the year, it shows the effect of this training and how it helps and complements their dedication and professionalism. And we can see it over and over again that they're getting good training programs, and it shows the professionalism of the organization. Commissioners, any questions about this?
No, I have no questions, but I just really want to thank you for this form that we can see in that's short, succinct, and relevant. Thank you so much.
My pleasure, Madam Commissioner.
Yeah, it's a wealth of information, and it does reflect how well trained the police department personnel really are.
And I also think that we're becoming the tree lighting and menorah lighting capital of the world. And we have a lot of, and it's always so nice. And I know the community is very, very thankful and feel very secure when we always have our community policing unit there and other officers to make sure that we are able to be safe and conduct the ceremony as we planned.
You know,
Yeah,
one thing I just observed, if I may, I couldn't help but notice the stress management. You would have thought that it would have been at least attended by a couple of more personnel, and just because of the nature, right, of the profession.
Well,
Yes.
I think they rotate. I
Okay,
think they rotate every month. But anyway,
I was just saying they must be free of stress then.
We've had so much training, we handle it very well.
Okay, any other questions? Okay, Deputy Chief Lepore, the administration report. We gave you a little break in between this and your operations report.
Yes, sir. Okay, again, good evening. So for the administration report, for our grants and inspections, we had our DUI grant that had 6 hires through the holiday season. That was between Christmas and New Year's. And they'll be hiring going forward for weekends through into the spring for holidays and special events. You know, like we have Super Bowl coming, we have St. Patrick's Day, any type of operations over the weekends. So they'll be out there. The auto theft grant also completed through December. They had 6 hires the end of the year, and it's now the grant is closed and that is done. For staff inspections, the Detective Bureau and Special Services had their cash audits. They were completed in December and there was no discrepancies found. There were no other staff inspections completed and there's none scheduled until April, which they'll be doing the dispatch center. Right now, our inspections, Lieutenant Ronzinski will be handling the completion and the compilation and completion of the NPD annual report that will be posted on our website once that's completed and approved by the chief. Crime scene unit fingerprinted 93 persons, 43 of them were for pistol permits. So their year-end totals for fingerprinted were 1,320. 440 of those were for pistol permits. In December, 30 cases were requested for DVDs and photos from the crime scene unit. They had 12 cases they processed for evidence with fuming, fingerprinting, and swabbing. And then 97 patrol cases were processed for camera and photograph downloads of any particular scenes. In professional standards and accreditation, so the Detective Bureau test that will be given in February. As of January, we had 12 officers signed up to take it. We usually get about 20, 25. So I expect that number to go up for next month. The CJIS, the Criminal Justice Information System, electronic system, went live on January 7th for probable cause hearings with, there was no issues found. So hopefully that will stay online, and then we'll be going into our next step for the electronic will be the submission of digital evidence electronically being submitted to the court, and that's going to go roll out later on this month. As for body and dashboard cameras, we had no issues with any of the hardware. We had 25 new requests for cases for FOI, insurance, and court. And then we have 10 kits that are ready and stocked for the new cars that'll be here in March. Accreditation, there's nothing new that's going on. They're completing the year-end stuff and they're collecting all the reports, and they're going to work together with Lieutenant Ronzinski for the annual report. That's going to be too.
Okay, good report. Any questions from the commission?
I just got one question.
Sure.
Now, under the grants and inspections,
Yes.
when you say the DUI grant had 6 hires throughout the holiday season, what does that mean to me?
So Commissioner, that means we were able to put 6 extra officers on the road, like on New Year's Eve and Christmas Eve. And we spread them out, you know, a couple days on the holiday, on the weekends for DUI enforcement. So we actually had the funding from the DUI grant to send out 6 additional officers on busy nights.
Okay, thank you.
Commissioner Clemens, just for the commission's knowledge, that resulted in 11 arrests for DUI in the
Wow,
month of December.
wow, that's great. Can we get some more?
So we're going to be running that grant. It was approved by Common Council in December. So that grant will be running through the summer. So we'll have additional officers out there. Like we just put them out last weekend because, you know, there's, you know, the football games and there's a lot of things that, you know, that present a lot of parties and a lot of, you know, intoxicated drivers around. So yeah, we're going to try and get them out on busy weekends, St. Patrick's Day, Super Bowl Sunday, and some of the busier, more trafficked days, but we'll have them out also on additionally on the weekends too.
Okay, great, thank you.
Somehow I muted myself. Any further questions or comments?
I
No,
have
but
no
I wanted
questions.
to thank Deputy Chief Lepore for a fantastic report. You did a great.
Thank
Very
you.
nice. Okay, Chief, the next item under personnel matters.
Yes, we have
Uh,
Lieutenant Robert Zwillich for an application for tuition reimbursement.
Can I get a motion to move that?
So moved, Mayor.
Okay,
Yeah,
Chief,
yes, he's attending Seton Hall University. He's attempting to get his master's degree in law enforcement executive leadership. A course taken was police executive leadership. He has submitted a reimbursement for 3 credits at $735 a credit. Total with fees, $2,480. He is asking for 50% of that, which will be $1,240. He did receive approval for reimbursement at the August 2023 meeting. He has submitted a package with his receipt, his grade, academic transcript. He got a 4.0.
All right.
very good.
Yep.
Any questions from the commission?
I just muted myself. Congratulations. Oh, I move,
All in favor?
aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Thank you. Next, Chief, is course approval. Officer Michael McCary. Do I get a motion to move that forward?
I move approval of courses for McCary.
Okay, Chief,
Yeah, application for course approval for Officer Michael Macari, one of the officers who just graduated the academy last January. Sacred Heart University, Masters in Public Administration. He is asking for permission for 4 classes: Spring 1 semester, Human Diversity and Justice, Public Policy and Law, Public Sector Communications, Nonprofit Management and Leadership. He hopes to use these proposed courses from above to better myself as an all police officer, community member, and asset for the city of Norwalk, learning a range of things from diversity to public sector communications. And this can hopefully do this for me.
any questions from the commission?
No question.
Yes, congratulations to Officer McCary as he pursues his higher education. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye, motion carries. Next is tuition reimbursement for Officer McCary. Gee.
Yes.
Can we get that moved?
Yes, I move tuition reimbursement for Michael McCary.
Yeah, Officer Macari finished courses this past fall 1 and semester fall 2 from Sacred Heart University. Principles of Public Administration, Public and Nonprofit Budgets, Data and Analytics and Infotech, HR Management, Public Sector. That equals 12 credits at $940 a credit. 11 total with fees is $11,473. 50% of that. Excuse me?
$75. $475, not
Okay, I'm
75.
sorry. $11,475. Half of that, 50% me $5,737.50. He did receive police commission permission for reimbursement on July 17th, 2023. He has submitted a billing statement from Sacred Heart attached and his grades.
Okay. Any questions from the commission?
I have none, Mayor.
No questions, but congratulations. I remember him. He was a little go-getter. I think he got his bachelor's in 3 years.
Well, he's going and getting it, so.
Yes.
Okay, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Next, we need to move forward the course approval for Officer Eslam Ellisy. Who's going to move that?
I
So
move that.
Okay. Chief,
Yes, Officer Ellisy, another, he's an academy graduate with Officer Macari. They both got hired in May of 2022. Master's degree from Sacred Heart University, Public Administration and Criminal Justice. Proposed courses are Human Diversity and Social Justice, Public Policy and Law, Public Sector Communication, Nonprofit Management and Leadership. He's confident that furthering my education and completing my master's degree will make me a better officer and asset for the Norwalk Police Department. The master's degree will allow me to learn new and improved ways of communicating with public and servicing the city of Norwalk.
Got some good courses there.
It's a noble
Any-
pursuit.
Any questions from the commission?
None.
I have none.
I have none as well. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Aye. Now we have a tuition reimbursement request from Officer Ellisi. Can I get a motion?
I move tuition reimbursement for Eslam Ellisi.
Yes, he took 4 classes for his master's degree at Sacred Heart University this past semester. Principles of Public Administration, Public and Nonprofit Budgets, HR Management, Public Sector, Data Analytics and Infotech. 12 credits, $940. Fees, $315. Total, $11,595. 50% equals $5,797.50. In August of 2023, the commission gave him permission to take these courses. He has attached his grades of all A's attached, and he has also given us his Sacred Heart University receipt.
Any questions from the commission?
Yes, I have a question. On the receipt, there is a charge of $120.93, which is a late charge. And that's included in the fees. Do we pay late charges? Is that included in reimbursement?
No, it's not.
Okay, well, we need to deduct the $120.
$120 from the total, which would make it $11,175. Is that it?
$11,475.
$475. And divided that by 2. Would be taking $60 away from the amount at the bottom. So that would be
It'd be
$5,000.
$5,676.57.
No, $5,737.
Yeah.
$37.50.
Yeah.
Yes.
So if somebody can make that adjustment, make a motion on that.
Okay, I move approval for tuition reimbursement in amount of $5,737.50, which is a $60 reduction from what was submitted due to it being a late charge.
Okay, any further questions or discussion? Seeing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion aye, motion carries. Next is information, I guess, for 2023 sick time and attendance, Chief.
Yes, it's a memo. 2023 sick time attendance. Submit names of personnel who have attained perfect attendance for the calendar year 2023. The Officer Michael McCarry, Officer David Bush, Officer Paul Wargo, Officer David Geismer, 2022 and 2023, Deputy Chief Terrence Blake, 2023, and Chief Walsh.
Congratulations to all of you.
Mhm,
Congratulations.
Very good.
That's great. Stellar.
Chief, if you can ensure that we get something from the police commission thanking them for their service.
Sure, we sent them letters already.
Okay.
Acknowledging.
With our names attached to it?
No, with my name, but I could have Mrs. Belinsky prepare a second one.
Yeah, if we could just
Okay.
say that your attendance record was presented at the commission meeting in January, and the Board of Police Commissioners congratulates you on whatever, something like that. Okay, next we have complimentary letters.
Yes, we received a letter from a resident, Bob Olson. He said, with all the calls that your department responds to every day, and one call on Monday this week from me about a deer tangled up in a deer fence in Silvermine, brought out an impressive effort by your department. He had noticed the deer struggling to free himself and thrashing around to the point of near exhaustion. The response by Sergeant Moquin, Officer Wargo, and Officer Rivera in their efforts to successfully free him and send him on his way were amazing and noticed by a large number of folks following the effort on the neighborhood social media platform. We all wish to extend our appreciation to them and to the ethic that runs through the department under your leadership that keeps us all safe, including our native wildlife. Thank you and stay safe. Robert Olson.
That
Just
was
goes to
nice.
show you never know what kind of call you're gonna get when you're on the police department.
Never know.
They come in and you take the call and you do your job. And I can imagine, I was watching a very interesting I don't know where I saw it, but to be honest with you, but a bear had gotten the bear had gotten I believe it was her paw caught in a trap and couldn't get out and was struggling, and the bear had several tiny bear cubs that would have been left abandoned if she couldn't get out. And a couple of gentlemen came along and she was pulling and pushing, and she was very, very afraid of the two men. And eventually, as you say, the bear got exhausted and they were able to approach, pull the trap open, and off she went. The interesting thing is, the very next day, the bear appeared at the house of one of the individuals with her little cubs. And she just looked there, stayed there, and left. It was like it's saying thank you.
Wow. Wow.
It was absolutely amazing. You know, you look at something like that, you say, you know, how do you
How to
explain it?
explain it? Yeah,
Yeah.
you can't. You
Yeah.
can't.
Watch out for those mama bears.
Oh yeah. Yeah, they get mad when you mess with their cubs, but she was like, okay, you help me.
But I appreciate that.
Yeah.
Okay, there is no more nothing else to come before the Board of Police Commissioners. Next meeting of February 26th, 2024 at 4:15 p.m. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
I move adjournment.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye, we are adjourned at 5:23 p.m. Thank you all and have a great rest of the week.
Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Good night.
Commissioners.
Good night.
Thank you.